The Elgin Owls are back in the state championship game to defend their title they won last year, and they'll see a familiar face on Saturday night at 7 o'clock in Edmond. It's Elgin and Tuttle Part 2. The Owls knocked off the Tigers to win the first state championship in school history last year. They'll look to add a second gold ball on Saturday night. Elgin Owl head coach Chalmer Wyatt joins us now as we get ready for the 4A state championship game. And coach, let's start right here with this year's team. You guys have won 27 games in a row dating back to last year. Obviously, you came into this season as the defending champion, which, when you win the first state title in school history, you've never entered a season as the defending champion. How has this season felt different, or has it at all felt different as the defending champion as opposed to chasing a state championship?
Yeah, I think on the outside looking in, it definitely feels different. But from the inside out, we've continued to do what we've done and continued to do the things that have got us here to this point. But yeah, it's been uncharted waters, and navigating those is different than the sense that every team that you coach is different, and it's been really fun to be in this position first and foremost, but it's also been very, intrinsic and detailed in how to get back to this point. And I think that that's where, our staff has done a good job of relaying, the messages that we want to relay to our team with our mindset and just everything that goes into, coming into this season. And, that's been the fun part, just the aspect that, we did something that's never been done before at Elgin, and now that we're back in a position that we wanted to be in, and it definitely looks different from a lot of standpoints. But that's where we come in as coaches, and that's why we do what we do, and we try to put our team in the best place possible on the field, off the field, mentally, physically, and I really admire what we've done as a staff to get to this point.
How does this year's team compare talent wise, personnel wise to last year's team? Because I was curious, we've had Elgin number one in 4A all season, so it's not like I was like that. They lost a lot of you did lose a lot of talent, but you also had a lot coming back. But you lose two Division I offensive linemen, you lose arguably the best quarterback in Elgin high school history. It's not easy to replace those guys, and in a lot of ways, you can't replace players of that caliber. But you look at the record, you look at what you guys have been able to do week after week, and you look just as dominant as ever, despite losing a senior class that had a lot of great talent.
Yeah, that's it's been a challenge, but I think something that we can really, look back on and know that what the difference was is, and every coach that's been in deep playoff runs will tell you the reps that you get through the playoff. You're looking at, with the bye week that we had, 5 extra weeks. And last year we did a good job of those guys that were the next guys up, capitalizing on the reps that they got at practice, being in the film meetings, being in the position meetings, and just literally taking the role of next man up seriously in the sense that when their time came this year, they were in a good spot to just go out and be themselves. And that's what I've been most proud of with the guys that we have on the field now, is just their preparation to be the next guy up. And I think a lot of that is attributed to their love for the game. Here at Elgin, we have guys that really love the game of football, and they've been waiting for their moment to get on the field and lead this team and contribute to this team. And that's what I would say is the biggest thing in regards to the new faces that you see on the field for us. We've continued to, do things that we've done in our program for a really long time. And now that it's just a new guy, it doesn't change much other than just, being coachable and living up to the standard we have here in our program. And really proud of our players for responding in that manner and being, mentally and physically ready to take it on this season.
I do want to just throw this out, that answer, the beginning of your answer, talking about the extra reps, the extra week of preparation in the playoffs. Carl Albert head coach Mike Dunn said the exact same thing in this conversation at this time last week. as they were preparing to inevitably win a 20th state championship in program history. So I think that that says a lot about this Elgin program where, the mindset with these players and the coaching staff and things like that, you're saying the exact same things that the staff at Carl Albert is saying, and one of the best programs in the state of Oklahoma. And so, that is so underrated across the state. Those extra weeks in the playoffs. You mentioned the bye week as well. We've been talking for about 5 minutes now, and we haven't said the name Ritson Myers. So let me go ahead and throw that out right now. Your star senior running back had a special junior season. The last time we saw him on the field in Edmond at UCO, he was carrying the ball over 40 times, helping carry the Owls to a state championship. Um, Open floor to talk about Ritson, man, because he, in my opinion, is one of the best players in the state of Oklahoma. And I still don't think he gets enough love around the state for being the dynamic and dominant football player that he is.
I agree with you, and I appreciate you saying those things about him. And I'd love to talk about him. I'd love to talk about the competitor that he is, just in the sense that you're going to get the best version of him in the biggest moments, and that's hard to say, and it's something that you don't see a lot of. There's tremendous players across the state all the time, but what he's got that sticks out to me is just his presence and his energy and his laser focus when the moment is big. And that's something that nobody can coach. I just fully believe that nobody can coach that. He's just got it. You talk about guys that just got it. In that regard, he's got it, and it's special. I mean, and it's not just football. His track record speaks for himself. He's a three-time state champ wrestler. He's going for his fourth, which is unheard of. I believe there's 60, maybe 50, 60 guys in the history of wrestling that's ever done that. He's one of the most clutch baseball players and one of the best baseball players in his class. And I think it all attributes back to, just how he is always ready for the moment. And no moment's too big for him. And you're going to get the best version of him in those things. And yeah, I mean, he's improved. If you look at him from last year to this year, he's improved. He's better on the offensive side of the ball. He's better on the defensive side of the ball. He's just a true kid. When you look at the game of high school football, and you look back at a lot of the greats, he's one of those guys. He's got all the attributes. He's got the toughness. He's just got everything makeup wise to be one of the all time greats in high school football. And I believe that he's doing a great job of letting his performances speak for himself, and he's one of the best kids I've ever been around. We talk about how he is on the field, but off the field, he's got a smile on his face all the time. He's incredibly thoughtful and nice to every kid in our locker room. Something that sticks out to me is he can have a conversation with any kid on our team, from freshmen to the guys in his class. And, he's a caring person. He's got a big heart. He's passionate. You can see his passion when he plays the game on Friday nights. And, man, just a wonderful kid that we've been blessed to coach. And, he's been a big part of changing this program from where we were to this point.
You mentioned his drive, his motor there at the beginning, and it reminds me, I'm going to start calling him the boogeyman, because as much as you try to kill him, you can't ever really kill him. I mean, going back to that state title game, carrying the ball 42 times, just when you think you have him down, you don't. He keeps coming back. He's a player that, I'm looking forward to seeing again on the big stage on Saturday night. And you mentioned he plays at his best in those big moments, and it doesn't get any bigger than a state championship game. Let's talk about the rest of the roster, because you don't make it to a state title game. You don't win 27 games in a row with just one player. You have everybody around on the offensive side of the ball. Let's start on offense and then work our way to defense. Who are some of the other players this season that have made the Elgin Owls so special and helped get you guys back to the state title game?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys on our offensive side that step. One that particularly I'm very proud of is our new quarterback this season, Caden Bledsoe. And going back to talking about the reps and extra weeks that we got last year, he was one of those guys that really took advantage of that. And playing quarterback here is a big deal, and he knows that, and he's done a tremendous job of preparing himself for when it was his turn. And he's just a kid that loves football. It's his number one thing in his life, and he's having an incredible time right now doing it, and he's playing at a very high level, and all things that we knew that he was very capable of. But you just don't know until you take over the reins, and it's been a pleasure to watch him grow and take his coaching and improve each week. And he knows that just because he's the starting quarterback here, that he's not even close to how good he can be. And so his mindset's really great in that regard, to get better each day and take coaching from the staff. And what a tremendous job he's done this season. And one more game for him his junior year, and it's nothing more, nothing extra. He just needs to go be him, and that's the greatest thing. That his mindset's right where it needs to be in that regard. Brody Morrison is a guy that's a returner, a 4-year starter. I mean, dynamic. Scored a touchdown last year in this game. Two-way starter, 4-year starter in the secondary. I mean, I believe he did set a record for most starts in a career here at Elgin, and just understands the back end so well. Is very dynamic, can do a lot of things with him on offense, and just a big catalyst, a captain for us. One of the guys you have to have on your team to go this far. Tremendous kid, and very dynamic, fast, can do anything. He can stretch the defense vertically, horizontally, and makes big plays for us all the time, and a great practice player at that as well. The rest of our guys, Kason Meyer is back. He's made some really big catches for us down the stretch, really savvy player inside at receiver that can do a lot of things. Braxton Antuna, we've got a 1-2 punch in the backfield that you have to note. Zero, he's just a great change of pace back for us. And he runs, extremely hard. He runs physical. You can see that you can see his wrestling background on the football field. And we'll talk about defense, but he's doing a great job on defense as well. Our offensive line, which was a point coming into this season, and another unit that really took advantage of those reps that we got throughout the playoffs last year. I'll talk about those guys that have answered the bell and have put us in the position that we're in now. Senior CJ Devine, Cameron Hollifer, juniors Jackson Deal, Hudson Bagley, and Zayden Roberts has stepped up, and we've had some different lineups at offensive line. Brody Ballou has stepped in throughout the season, and we've got Jaden Usher, that sophomore, that has stepped up as well. And all of these guys have put themselves in the position that they're in because of, the belief and the work that they have put in, knowing that they're the next guy up. And, for all the question marks there, I think that they've answered that bell and done a tremendous job on the line of scrimmage, protecting our quarterback and opening up holes in the run game. And then, our tight ends have done a tremendous job continuing to do what we do. Jake Deal, a junior that stepped up, has been very, very solid. Lucas Young, a first-year player for us, has come out as a senior. He's a big target that has improved each week, and that's a sign of a championship team, just player to player with our mindset that we've had. And he's been tremendous. He's made some big catches in the postseason, and he's improved each week as a blocker. And just offensively, just proud of how we've got ourselves to this point and took care of the football and finished drives and ultimately put ourselves in a position to play Saturday.
Defensively, you guys have been just as dominant. Really in the playoffs, I've been really impressed with the guys facing Cushing and what they do offensively. They're so explosive, and to really limit what they were able to do in the semifinals, that should tell you everything you need to know about this Elgin defense. And when you consider the team that you're playing on Saturday night and the offense that they have, this defense has to be playing with confidence right now, and that's what they're going to need on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I thought our effort in the semifinals was tremendous defensively. I thought we starving to get to the football and tackled really well and stayed on top, of deep shots. And Cushing is very, very dynamic on offense, very dynamic, and they have a great quarterback that can run it, can throw it, can create a tough running back, and a plethora of receivers that they get the ball to. And the effort that we played with, I think the effort alone, I thought, put us in good spots. And then, of course, we had a great game plan going in. Played relentlessly, pursued the football really well, tackled, and I thought Coach Baker did a tremendous job game planning for a very dynamic offense, and Cushing and the rest of the defensive staff worked really hard on that. And it was a good confidence builder for us going into this week defensively, and we have been playing really good defense. And yeah, it's just kind of something that we've done here for a few years now, and I can attribute that to the same thing with the extra weeks of practice and just our culture defensively, and. But just to have that game last week was a big confidence booster for us going forward. And, we obviously have a tougher task this week in what they do defensively, but proud of our unit and from the front end to the back end and the linebackers, just tremendous athletes and tremendous guys that love the game of football and believe in what we do.
The Elgin Owls and the Tuttle Tigers were the top two teams in Class 4A last season. They meet again this year for the state championship. Coach, I can ask this question during the regular season, and I know what the answer is going to be. But now that we're to this point, when you look back at this season, I mean, how often do you guys pay? Did you guys pay attention to what Tuttle was doing? Because coming into this season, it looked like Elgin and Tuttle were once again the top two teams in Class 4A. Obviously, you have to take it one game at a time, get there to be able to face them again. But how often were you just kind of peeking around the corner to see what they were doing, knowing that this rematch, while it might have felt inevitable on the outside looking in, it was something that you guys, did you pay attention to what they did at all this season? And what's your initial reaction to facing the Tigers for the second straight year?
Yeah, it's just, after a game on Friday night, we look at scores throughout the state and keep up with, our class and those things. And they're doing a tremendous job. They're scoring at a at an all-time level and playing tremendous defense on top of that, and you've got to give credit to them to getting back to the game as well. And they're hungry and they don't like what happened last year, and they're playing extremely motivated. And, I think that they're, have improved in a lot of ways now that we have the tape on and looking at them in all three phases of their game. And it's, you got to compliment guys that play the game the right way and play hard and get themselves in position to make plays. And so just, we kept up with them, but now that we're here, and that goes back to speaking on how we do things. We don't ever look forward. It's about what we have in front of us, and a lot of those are what we do at practice. That's one of our main things is what we do at practice. But now that we're here, we've got the tape on, and you got to give those guys credit for being back in the game as well, and how they're playing at a high level. And I mean, what more could you want? Both teams worked really hard to get back to this point.
I'm gonna throw this out there. We're recording this on Sunday. I just drove back from Edmond the first week of state championships, and when we had 6 games in 3 days, and you're driving on the highway and you're exhausted after 3 straight days of football. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I was already it was midnight, 12:30, and I was already fired up for Saturday night and this rematch between these two teams. We're ending all these conversations, Coach, with one simple question. When you look at Saturday's game with the Tuttle Tigers, what's going to be the biggest key to winning a second consecutive state championship?
Well, I mean, it starts with the line of scrimmage. It starts with ball security. It starts with all the things that you see in championship games at all levels that you've got to win those battles, and you've got to understand that both teams are going to make plays, and it's going to be how you respond to those plays and how short your memory can be, and that's what we hope to achieve this week through practice is solidifying those things that we think are going to be keys to victory, and just taking it one step at a time. One of our biggest things that we say, doing the little things in a big way. And I think that the bigger the moment, and like you said, you're fired up for this one, but as big as it gets, it's more important about the little things with how you do things every day that leads up to Saturday night, and that's what we want to see our guys continue to believe in that, and just doing the little things in a big way, and doing what you're coached to do up to this point.
Two outstanding communities heading to Edmond, Tuttle, Elgin. Looking back on some of the attendance notes from last year, the 4A title game was the most attended state championship game of 2024. We expect the same thing on Saturday night. Like I said, it was a heavyweight championship fight last year. We're expecting the same thing this year. I can't wait to make it back to Edmond this week. For all the championship games, but that 4A, it feels like, look, it's the last game of the season. It feels like that main event type atmosphere, type matchup as we have Elgin, Tuttle, both teams undefeated, rematch of last year's state title game. Storylines galore going into this one. I can't wait. Coach, thanks so much for your time today, and good luck on Saturday. We'll talk soon.
I appreciate you. Thank you for Prep Red Zone, man.
I appreciate that. Elgin head coach Chalmer Wyatt. This has been a preview for the Elgin Owls. Again, we have these previews coming up all week on our Prep Red Zone Oklahoma YouTube channel. We'll also have plenty of content on the website, prepredzone.com/Oklahoma. You can also check out our conversation with Tuttle head coach Brad Ballard as the Tuttle Tigers try to turn that silver ball they got last year into a gold ball this year. The Elgin Owls are going to have something to say about that on Saturday night. Again, Saturday, 7 o'clock at UCO, 4A state championship game, number 1 Elgin, number 2 Tuttle. Can't wait. For Coach Wyatt, I'm Michael Knight, and this has been a look at the Elgin Owls heading into Saturday's state title game.